Hi, welcome to Suplex the Sticks, a gaming podcast hosted by David and Seth.
Hi.
And Forrest.
Howdy.
Keeley is upon us. He's
So far away from this microphone.
he's waiting at any moment to strike.
Boo.
But he has...
There he is.
Yeah.
He's behind you.
He's also stricken. He's... he...
What is
That's a
that?
weird thing to say.
Every time that he has one of these events, he comes out and goes, I don't want people to get too excited. They got to temper their expectations. But then he also hypes up the event. And I don't... Which one is it, Jeff? Which one?
It's
What? You
He needs to make up his mind.
make up your mind. Just say what you should be open about is when something is not going to be there, which is what he kind of did. He said, I see people on Twitter saying that Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be at this, and he's like, I don't want to break their hearts, but
Their Kingdom
it's
Hearts.
it's a
wrong.
dream. He said that's a long dream, and just say it's not going to be there. Because there's all these rumors that he's signed a big NDA that people have found with Square Enix to where he's not allowed to tease anything like that. But I don't believe that there's an NDA. I think that's a pipe dream. But
Yeah,
like...
It's a weird thing to believe.
But like...
Unless it's true.
Listen, Seth, we had a whole episode dissecting a piece of marketing that we were for sure that was real for Smash. So people on the internet
yes.
will believe anything.
That's true.
And I, too, am desperate for Kingdom Hearts 4 news.
Yeah. Listen, I watched that Steam announcement trailer the other day for the series,
Oh,
and
man.
I still cried.
Yeah, it got me really good. But, you know, it is what it is. There might be an episode over the weekend where we react to some of the announcements. Not going to be after the Kayleys. We'll probably do it. If we do one, it'll be Sunday afternoon after the Xbox One.
I want to know when this Nintendo Direct is. Because I got a 15% off promo code from Nintendo for my birthday.
Okay.
And I want to know if they're going to show anything.
Yeah.
Gotta be like, well, I want to use it on that.
Yeah.
And it expires at the end of the month.
Of this month?
Yeah.
It's going to be sometime.
Yeah, I know it's going to be sometime.
It's going to be in the
You
middle
should
of
have
the
time.
month.
Yeah.
I would bet it's probably the week after the Xbox thing. It's probably like the weekend of the 15th or whatever. Or the week of, so maybe that Thursday. They like to do directs on Thursdays. Man, you know,
Maybe it'll
you
be
know
tomorrow.
you know they're going to announce supposedly that Fire Emblem, and you can use it on that. That
Yeah.
that's
I
the Fire Emblem that's a secret but not a secret. That it's been done for years.
Oh, that would make me so happy if that came out.
You know, it's also in the shot. It's also in the canon with the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker remakes. That
Yeah.
is like
true.
people know they're done, and just Nintendo has kept on to them for a rainy day. It seems like this is the time for the rainy day checks to be cashed. But let's talk about video games that we've been playing, and then we'll do some guesses and some fun predictions for the Kayleys. I have, within 5 days, come within arm's reach of beating Immortals of Aveum. Most of that through 2 play sessions over the weekend.
It's great.
Where I played for like 6 hours each play session.
I told y'all.
What a video game. What a video
It
game.
is maybe one of the most video games
It is
I've
so much
played.
of a video game.
Yeah.
If I don't know, like I'm feeling gaslit by this game kind of like this there have definitely been multiple moments where I'm like, this is my game of the year. Like I'm just like,
Wow.
this is like hitting all the right notes for me.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of little things it does right that a lot of other games don't do, in my opinion. And one of them is actually rewarding you for picking up lore drops. It gives you experience points. And so, like, every once in a while, I'll pick up a lore drop, and I just so happen to be close to leveling up. And then it levels me up. And I'm like, oh, look at that. I got rewarded for picking up a collectible instead of just getting it and it filing away to an unknown cabinet I never touched.
Yeah.
They're also fun to read because they're all as ridiculous as the game itself.
Oh, my Lord. The writing in this game is wild. The stuff they're deciding to do and the way that they do jumps and hard cuts between cutscenes. And they just ask you to fill in the blank with your skull. They don't ham fist you with a lot of exposition, which is great. And this
It's really flying.
It is
60 miles an hour. Dude.
It's
a minute.
And
even, sorry.
I'm not putting it on the same level of Frank Herbert's Dune of the book. But hold on. I have a point. But it is a Dune is very well known for you starting that book, and I know because I've read the book, and you're jumping onto a moving train that's going very fast.
Yeah.
And so this game does the same thing, where it is throwing terms at you without really explaining what they are or what they mean in the context of the world. And what Dune does is it gives you a glossary in the back. So, like, when they're like, yes, the Kwisatz Haderach puts their hand in the Gom Jabbar, you're like, what? and so you have to, like, Bene Gesserit witch and stuff like that. Like, there's a glossary where it sort of gives you context. And this game doesn't even have that most of the time.
Yeah, no.
And sometimes it'll give it to you as a collectible you can go.
Sometimes they'll say the thing, explain it like with one half line of dialogue, and then move on. Next thing.
Because in the long run, it's not ever really that important. You can kind of understand what the roles of everyone is through context. Of what's happening.
For sure. What a video game. I'm having a great time. It's a first-person spell slinger. It's the first of its kind. I genuinely think...
I don't think that's true.
I don't know. I think...
I mean,
Skyrim
in all the
spell
Elder Scrolls
slinging.
that you're in first person, you can sling spells around.
Yeah. Surely
No,
not.
no,
at
no.
this
Not with the speed.
Not with this freedom either. Like this... You're reloading without spending an MP gauge and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like, I'm not having to
absolutely.
take potions and micromanage other things. I'm throwing spells.
It's Doom
and
with
hitting
spells.
dudes. Like, it is Doom with spells, but without as fast. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I
yeah.
cannot handle the speed of Doom. And I've tried multiple times. I'm glad that people like that game. I don't like it. I can't do it. And that's okay. But this game is great. Obviously, it is a contender for one of the best things to ever exist to me because the main character's name is Jack, spelled J-A-K,
J-A-K.
just like Jack and Daxter. So obviously, high contention there. Forrest had to point out, and it was going to happen anyway because my brain was going to pick up on it, that he is very Jim Hawkins coded from Treasure Planet, and he really is. And
I said that before the
He's
time
a bit more of a
skip.
jerk.
Jim Hawkins is kind of a jerk.
Eh.
They just move past it fast because it's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
If they let that build out
And
a little more.
he had a father figure come in and
Yeah.
kind of set him straight a little bit in some ways.
Fair.
But Jack, that boy's got a rage in his heart.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
Oh, we don't need to talk about the father figure of Treasure Planet. I just got to the part of Black Sails where they called him Long John Silver. It was rad. Black Sails is a good show. Go. Well, pirates are cool.
That's the second time this week I have been told
Very
to
different.
watch this show.
Very different John Silver in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You should watch Black Sails. Everyone should. And Seth, you should finish it because I'm in the final season now.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot to go back to.
Well, don't watch the old stuff. You know where it's at.
Yeah, but I don't really remember any of it.
So yeah, I've been playing that, and I have been so consumed by it that I haven't been able to touch Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door as much as I want to.
I forgot that came out this last week.
But I did pick it up and I have started it, and I am almost through. I'm through the tutorial, the first area, like the first tutorial area, and I'm enjoying that. I just learned how to use my super. It's my first time playing that game, and the writing is just as good as people say it is, and it's fun and a good time.
I remember it being funny in like the 2 hours that I played of it on the GameCube.
I've played a little longer than 2 hours now, so that's good. I want to mention the other thing that I've played. It's kind of hard to go on and on about Immortals of Aveum because there's a lot of spoilers I know right now, and I don't want to ruin it for Forrest.
Yeah. I'm a wee bit behind.
But the green magic is god awful. I don't know how anyone uses that. It sucks so bad.
I like
That's
it.
how I feel about the red magic right now.
Oh, red magic.
Red magic
rules.
is also great.
Red magic rules. Blue magic best.
Yes, absolutely.
Because the blue magic
always
is a
best.
DMR, and that's,
Yes, exactly.
and that's what I use all the time. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I've tried to use the like Spartan laser version of the blue magic, and I've tried to use the sniper version, and I just keep going back to the DMR version.
Yep.
But I have been playing. I've played about 10 to 15 rounds of it now. The new free-to-play Star Wars Overwatch game.
15 rounds, jeez.
Star Wars Hunters. It just dropped yesterday.
How fast are these matches, I gotta ask?
Pretty quick.
Okay.
It's...
We're talking like 5 minutes?
Yeah, around that. It's first to 20 kills.
Okay.
So it's first... Yeah. So it's pretty short. Because it is only on mobile and on Nintendo Switch.
Now, what if you throw a grenade at the ground and kill yourself 20 times? Do you win?
There's no grenades that I've seen on characters yet.
No thermal detonators?
No, not yet.
Crazy.
There is a Wookiee tank that uses the arms of a droid as his weapons, as axes, which is kind of cool.
Okay, cool. Which kind of droid?
That's
the question.
I don't know. The two characters it starts you out with is a bounty hunter type person with a rifle blaster, and then a stormtrooper with a Gatling gun. And then you earn more characters by playing the game, which is kind of cool. You can buy them if you want. It's sort of Apex Legends-y in that way, where you could buy the characters if you want. And they have a lot of unique characters, in my opinion. One of them I almost paid for, but I don't know if I'd like to play as them. And it's a small alien that repurposed a droidica, the rolling droids, as a thing that can carry him, and he shoots from it. Like
so
from
it's
like a
mech
mech,
suit.
like a mech for him.
Droideca mech.
Yeah, and
I'd like to have one of those.
yeah, but
dizzy.
there's really there's no telling how dizzy he actually gets in
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
But there's a lot of unique characters and character design in this, and I'm pretty excited that it exists. I've been playing it on my Switch off and on, and the past 2 days, and I've played on my phone a decent chunk because it's actually fairly accessible on the phone. For like third-person shooters are kind of hard on mobile, but I'm finding it to be fun, at least. I'm not like getting mad and feeling like I'm doing terrible.
Well, you got that backbone for just such things.
I know, but then I have to take my phone case off and all this stuff. And, when I'm going to the bathroom at work and I like, it's just, you could play
Maybe
a quick
popping
round.
the phone case
Genuinely,
out isn't the best.
20 kills, it takes like 3 minutes. Like it's a pretty quick game.
That's insane to me.
And that's what makes it fun, I think, is that like if you're getting trounced, you're not getting trounced for long. You know what I mean? Like a team deathmatch style thing is usually 50 kills long, and like 25 kills in how bad it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh God, there's 25 more. At least with 20, you know how it's going, and it's going to be over quick, which helps.
How many matches of that have you had so far that's been like pretty close?
So I think I am now playing against real people. I think they have a Now it's close. The last like 3 matches I've played have been close.
Okay.
The first 10 were absolute killing sprees, just idiots. So they were bots or people that are just really bad. But the last like 3 to 5 have had real people mixed in for sure because it's gotten more difficult. Either that or the bots level up.
Yeah.
Either one. The last one I won, it was like 20-18. Like it was
wow.
pretty
Right
to
on
the
nail.
wire. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's neat, and I've really been enjoying that. I'm waiting to see how much it holds my attention till I like buy the season pass. But the season pass, what they're doing is, I actually think it's better than what Overwatch does, or not better than what
Pretty much
Apex
everything
does.
is better than what Overwatch does these
Right.
days.
So every season pass, it seems like you get one of the characters that's dropping with the season pass. So like there's a Mandalorian attached to this season pass, and like level 3 of the pass you get the character, which is kind of rad. So you are buying the pass, but you're also buying a character. So you feel like you're getting a little added bonus instead of just dropping money on a character. Because there's a lot of stuff in the pass, of course. That's how the season passes work.
True.
And I kind of wish Apex did something like that, because some of those heroes...
Would have
like,
loved to have played as them.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a decent chunk of them. And now, I don't know, that game is not as fun to play anymore. I've tried. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Star Wars Hunters and Immortals of Aveum, which the title does it a disservice. I don't know what the title could have been.
I mean, the title, it does refer to the characters of the game.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they could have called it Everwar.
Yeah.
I think that would be a worse
Everwar
title.
would have been good. Or just Immortals.
Yeah, but
Like, it's... The moment when you start throwing like, that sort of, like... I feel like people bristle against stuff like
right,
that.
because it's nonsense.
Right.
And so
To be fair, though, the game itself
the game is nonsense.
is nonsense.
But I think like a title like that is nonsense, that also sounds serious.
Right.
Is like, well, this is weird. It's not the best title, but I think it's fine. I don't know if there's a better title that would have made them sell more.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish that there
Maybe
was.
Laser Call of Duty.
Just Jack's Quest. Just,
Be bad.
they could have called it Power Rangers Immortals, because I feel like this game is very Power Rangers coded,
Okay.
with everyone having different colors, and you being... So Seth argues that
There's a character who wears purple, and David said they were the Purple Ranger.
they
And I
were
was
coded
well,
as
no.
like a 5th Ranger, but you're kind of the 5th Ranger because you have all the powers.
Yeah.
You are, as Jack is kind of the the 6th Ranger.
He
Ranger.
does have all of the magics, all 3
Triarch.
colors. The Triarch, yes, that's what it was called.
Yes.
The three colors of magic. As I could never get over how they just called it the colors of magic. Like they have the lore is that each of the color represents some different like source of energy or something. But they just call them colors.
Calling it blue
green
magic.
use blue magic. It's like
It's so simplified.
It's ridiculous.
It is, yeah, they have it. They have words for everything else but that.
Yeah, I mean they do have words, but it's also like
And they have
because
a reverence for the magic too. Like it's not just something that they're like, it's a limitless resource, just use it however you want. Like they put a lot of weight behind the fact that this magic does exist and that they can use it.
yeah.
Like it's not a
I mean, there's
it's
a
not
whole
throwaway thing.
class system based on who can and can't use magic, and there's like these. We find out there's this whole system of people who own land underneath these magic ley lines and allow like aristocrats to have their children born in the fields under those ley lines so that they will be more likely to have magical prowess. And it's like, this is the most insane world building that I've ever heard.
It's
and none of it is really in the game. It's in the story of the game, which is wonderful. I think it's
playing through the game.
I think it's just hilarious, all the stuff. The thing that irks me about it is, like, in the beginning, when you become an immortal and you meet all of the other immortals, and there's this one who isn't there at the banquet, and you get to meet him the next day, and you find out, like, he's this spy who is an assassin. Well, he's not a spy. He is an assassin for the king of the realm, but you never actually get to fight with him. He only ever shows up after missions and that you can talk to him, and he's really cool, and he's like a count of some realm or something.
He's a viscount.
A viscount? Yeah, he's a cool dude, but you only ever get to talk to him. Valerian is from Game of Thrones.
Valar. There's a he has a cool.
No, it's a sci-fi thing.
No, but he has a cool Valerian and the Thousand Planets. Or whatever.
Valerian. Like Valerian root.
I don't want to look up anything because I'm at the end and I'm worried there's going to be a spoiler.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's dressed in all black, but we don't know what magic he uses.
Black magic.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
No, there are only 3 colors. There's no black.
There's no reason there couldn't be
And the
more.
secret fourth hole, which is all of them. There's 3 colors, and then there's the Triarch, which is...
Yes. There is some kind of magic that the Triarch uses that uses all of the magic. But as far as we know, there are no other colors.
Avatar state.
I assume that if there were to be sequels, there would be other colors of magic. Because, like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah. Or, like, combining, like, the red and the green.
They already kind of do that with the skill tree.
Yeah, there are some skills that overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can only get them if you have the middle, the stage reached on both of them.
Yeah.
And
I think it's crazy that in the middle of the skill tree is like this big purple circle, and it's like, you telling me purple's in this world and I can't use it?
Correct.
Yeah, that's the forbidden
magic.
magic.
For the sequel.
Yeah. That was always when I remember when they showed previews of it and they were talking about the 3 colors of magic. My thought that the big twist was that your character was going to be able to use the 4th color of magic.
Yeah.
And it turns out he just uses all 3 colors. Which is fine. It's
create
fine.
a 4th color in that way. You're just all of them.
In a way, yeah.
In a way, but not really. Since it's only the 3 colors.
I couldn't imagine being in this world, and if I was a magic user, only being stuck to using one.
Yeah, it would be a bummer.
Like,
it's
certainly I'd like the blue one would be the one.
It probably
to go, but like
would not matter if not for random Jack popping up being able to use all the colors.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? This guy he couldn't even use magic yesterday, and now he's stronger than all of us. But so it goes.
Truly.
Great game.
Did you guys ever see the glitch where what's her name has her freaky arm glove off?
No.
So,
is that a glove? I thought her arm was just off. Like it was broken off.
No, so what is her name? The Kirkin, yes.
Oh, I hate her.
Everyone gets the sigils.
She's a gaslight gatekeep girl boss.
She is a gaslight.
And a girl
you don't
boss,
even
for
know.
Sure.
You don't even know.
No, but so she has the sigil. The sigil is what all the Magna use to focus their power, be able to shoot lasers. And this is basically your arm cannon, your Mega Man Metroid arm cannon.
Yeah.
But you learn that hers is different because it's like covering her whole arm and it's like made of crystal. And there's like a backstory about how she was arguing with her sigil and turned off all the limiters to keep it safe so she could use all of her power. And they say that it's like now permanently fused her arm. There is one cutscene that the first time I went into like the vault to talk to her and she's sitting there painting, and she didn't have it on, and I was like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
This happened with me too.
Yeah, so I don't know if...
Like it was just like a...
it's...
take it off.
Yeah,
you know?
but everyone says that she can't take... It has to have been like an oversight.
Yeah.
Because...
That is possible.
Like maybe at some point she was able to take it off, but when you learn about it, like when you can actually ask people about it, they say that it's fused to her arm. And then you just walk in the room and it's off. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But you never see her with it off again. I just thought it was funny.
It's such a weird idea that they just somehow in that section maybe loaded in an earlier model from production and just forgot to replace it.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
A little bit.
Yes.
I'm almost done. I want to keep playing so badly. I'm like, I feel like I'm like right there.
Forrest, have you figured? Well, I don't know how far are you.
No, he's
I'm in
only
chapter 8.
he's
But
in
what's
chapter
happening
8.
in chapter? Like we talked about this over Discord. The chapters, they mean nothing to me because I don't even remember them being in the game. I need to know where you are.
Let me look up what chapter 8 is.
I just got... So, the Immortals and Sandrak, is that his name?
Yes.
Okay.
Just had their
Peace
meeting.
talk thing.
Yeah, attempted one, and then Kirkin calls in
Nausea.
the forces.
Yes.
Yeah, at Nausea. And then that all went to crap, and Jack blacks out and wakes up back at home. It was like, what happened?
Okay.
Yeah, so that is where chapter 8 starts.
Man, you're so fresh.
So you're not far enough to have figured out what the twist might be.
Yeah.
Is that Kirkin's the bad guy?
No.
No.
Because
Well,
that's what it's looking like.
there's a couple twists. I just remember like there were points in the story that I thought, I wonder if this is this. And then hours later, it turned out it was like,
be
oh,
that?
it exactly was that.
Okay, I've
So
got
I
a
was,
few ideas kind of like
I'm
that.
curious. I'm curious what we think.
Yeah, I'm wondering how this is going to shake out. You said that I'm about where it all starts getting twisty turvy.
Yeah, yeah, it gets it does get a bit weird at the well.
You haven't even met my favorite character yet.
Yeah. Yes.
This game keeps throwing new stuff at
I'd
you.
love to hear that actually, because I'm not a big fan of the like current cast, honestly, except for
Buddy, you're about
Devin.
to meet. You're about to meet.
he's a bit much.
You're about to meet two of the best characters.
I think the best character is
Awesome.
the inexplicable cowboy, but
Yeah.
only because he has.
Well, Forrest is
that
gonna
his
love
name?
no, but
No.
that'd be so cool.
But I don't want to ruin the moment.
Yeah.
So you.
But he's
will-
the one I remember telling you guys about it, how he uses some euphemism about a horse, and it turns out that Jack's like, "What is a horse?"
And he said,
And he's
"I
like,
don't know."
I don't know. It used to
I
exist.
popped so hard at that.
It's hilarious. It is
he-
so weird.
He says the horse line. Jack goes, "What's a horse?" And he goes, "I don't know. I read it in a book." And it's like, what?
Why would you say that?
It's sort of like as an This is a very deep cut for anyone. The Expanse book series, like people on Mars in that book series are all like very fascinated with Western culture, so they all speak in Western accents, and so it's very funny. Like in the show, it's very weird to like watch. They're like, "Yeah, I'm from Mars," and it's like, "What?" and but like they describe it in the book series as that too. Like it's just a weird thing about Mars. But like this guy is in a magical world. To be fair, they use a lot of language.
Yeah, they use language from the real world that they're
super casual.
that does not
That
should not
you
exist.
Shouldn't
It
exist.
wouldn't-
have no frame
Yeah.
of reference to what they're doing.
this there would
Like-
be the slang would not exist, and that's one of the things I loved about the game because it's just like
It likes
it's
to
not
pepper
taking
in,
it too serious.
It also likes to pepper in the F word randomly, which is great.
Yeah.
It's just, there's a whole scene where Jack is trying to learn how to trash talk. That was weird.
it's a weird game.
It is a weird
It's
game.
It's from front
Who's
to
your
back.
favorite
It's real
character
weird.
right now?
I mean, honestly, it's Jack.
Oh, I mean, Jack is great, but he's
Yep.
No, Zendara, who is the queen. She's great. I
I'm
want to make like fan cams of Zendara.
I'm like 50-50 on her.
She's very. She's real annoying at the beginning.
Yeah, I would give that.
I love her.
I
She's big and strong.
came around to her as she comes around to Jack,
Yeah.
which I think makes sense.
I don't know. I feel like Jack was a twerp, and so I'm
He
like,
is a twerp.
yeah,
Absolutely.
you need to be mean to this little prick. Like this, like when she's being mean to him, I'm like, yeah, you're right. I just like her. She's great. I'm gonna make fan cams on TikTok of Zendara.
I think there is a really cool. I think there's a great moment at the beginning of the game after Jack gets his powers and like he's confronting Kirkin and he's like, "You need me because I'm clearly like the chosen one and I'm hot stuff." And she's like, "No, actually, you're not.
This,
I need you because we're losing soldiers every day, and
Yeah.
you're another person that I can put into the fire."
yeah,
I did like that a lot.
Yeah, because it's sort of, it takes away the tired kind of chosen one narrative.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, this happened to you, and you randomly got powers, and that's great. But it's not because of anything special about you.
right. You haven't even met the weird. She hasn't shown up again. The inexplicable Kate McKinnon character. That's
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, Seth knows who I'm talking about. She's just very Kate McKinnon coded kind
Yeah,
of.
I mean it's a colorful cast of characters.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got a lot of characters to meet.
I love to hear it.
Yeah. There's a lot that you haven't seen. And a lot of powers. There's still a power I don't have.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what that is, and I cannot remember.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the.
What is the other one?
There's a fourth green magic. I would be hilarious if it's one that you unlock with something, and I just never did it. But yeah, no, I don't.
That's
have
what
that.
I'm worried about.
What?
Like not doing all the gates and stuff, and just being like, well, what if there's something in one of them?
So there's
or
no
if we're doing
spells
all
locked
of them?
behind the
Yeah,
gates.
thankfully
so.
that's what I've come to
I think
discover.
there's at least one.
It might be that green one. I don't know.
Crap.
Every gate I've done that has given me something has been basically like a story led one, or at least the story mission basically took me to the gate.
Yeah, everything that you need, you'll find in the story.
Maybe this is a control type situation where you just you can beat it while missing powers and stuff. But Forrest, you've only been playing Immortals of Aveum?
I actually did get the chance to play some
that's
X
what it
Defiant. That game is a blast for me. Cameron, friend of the
You won't miss
Discord and podcast, explained it pretty succinctly, I'd say, where he said the developers for that just looked at what Call of Duty was doing 15 years ago and said, we're doing that.
Is the map design good though? That's the big...
I would say for the most part. There's only like one map I would say I'm frustrated by, but pretty much everything else, it flows properly. Now, there are some parts of some of the maps where there's too many routes or entrances into
which is a lot of
area.
my problem with newer Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So.
Most of the maps, though, run on a 3-lane
Oh, God bless America.
system. It's very simplified stuff, or there's like only 2 choke points into an area.
Yeah.
And it's
Sorry, what are you talking about?
X Defiant. Sorry, I probably should have prefaced
No,
this.
I'm
the
reading
Ubisoft.
No, so I'm reading this
connected
thing
world
about
shooter.
all of the skills in Immortals of Aveum, and I just got really confused because there are apparently 2 other like super magic spells. There's one that there's a tutorial video that can be found in the game's files, and another one that was revealed during a developer Q&A live stream, but neither of them are actually in the game. I was very confused reading this
dang.
because it's like Immolate, playable, yes,
Oh.
and then Spectral, playable notes. What is spectral?
What is
and then
playable?
meteor. It's like, what the heck is this?
Meteor?
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
He got the black materia?
Holy
guess so.
crap.
Holy-
That, listen, I'm telling you, that's the fourth magic.
It's the
Oh my gosh, we cracked the code.
Final Fantasy VII
Why
Remake
did-
3 in Immortals of Aveum are connected.
I do want to say, if you have the time, Seth, I'll press upon you. You should go listen to it. Remap did an interview with like the head of the studio that made Immortals of Aveum, and it was a very good interview. And it's sort of a bummer because it was after after they had kind of figured out that it wasn't doing well.
Yeah.
And did you listen to it?
No.
You should. It's a really good listen. It's especially good because Patrick and Rob both really like the game, and so they're like, "This is such a bummer because it's so good." And
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like that's how anyone who plays it would feel.
Yeah. It is making me bummed. I was telling Seth about this. The more I go along the story mode, the less the percentage of the people that got the achievement for the chapter is going.
It starts
and I'm like,
heavily falling off.
no, because it's worth, like, it's good.
Yeah.
But X Defiant, it's guns. You have 2 powers. And grenades.
So you have a passive ability, an active, like I think it's on like the left bumper or something like that, and then an ultimate that charges up. And most of them are just like gadget based things, so it's not like these characters have superpowers or anything. And each of the characters, basically there's classes, and then there's 3 characters within each of those classes, and each of the classes is a different faction from a different Ubisoft property.
Such as DeadSec.
Yes, from Watch Dogs, you've got the Libertad from Far Cry 6.
Interesting.
Supposedly they're working on an Assassin's Creed and Rabbids one.
Rabbit?
That's crazy.
That would be something.
Yeah. There's people from the Division.
Would they be people?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, what? How do you make that work? I've got no clue. Do you just stretch out the rabbits to be humanoid, like human proportioned?
I hope so.
Like in scale with the other
I feel like
characters?
that would be the best option.
I think so too, and it would also be the most insane. And there's like Echelon from Splinter Cell, so
they'll make a pirates from Black Sails faction, the quadruple A faction.
God.
What about Rayman faction, where your arms and legs are separate?
Yeah, you just have hands,
Your torso
and
and hands and feet.
that would be.
You're like Buggy.
awesome.
Buggy from One Piece, the show we all
Or
love.
like Rayman.
Or like Rayman.
From
Well, no, Rayman
Rayman.
doesn't really fling his appendages out. I was like,
what?
does he? I don't.
Yeah,
I've barely played. I've
and
barely
he goes-
played Rayman.
I played it a lot as a kid.
I played through a lot of that, but I always played as the blue guy. I don't know the blue guy's name.
I don't remember.
Blue Man group.
Bluey.
I was about to say, is he part of a group?
Bluega, the Deep Blue Sea. I don't know his name.
Yeah.
You think there's a limit to the range that Rayman can throw his appendages?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like they're normal physics, but being thrown out. Like they're not like a. Like it seems like they have the restriction of what a normal range would be, if that makes sense.
I wonder how.
I wonder.
I think it was
What's the science behind
the
it?
science behind
physics.
Rayman's limbs.
Yeah.
Or
I'm sure
lack
that
of
there's
limbs.
a video. I'm sure that someone has
yeah.
done this. If not, you should
Yeah.
start a Patreon. Maybe-
The first step, start the
Yeah.
Patreon.
yeah,
Yep.
write
I
out
am
the
doing this
Get
for
people
free.
buy it.
write out the video essay.
Play all the Rayman games. Talk
There's
to
a-
developers.
There's enough Rayman sickos out there that you'll get an audience.
Yeah.
Then your next video essay will be Bionicles based for certain.
Yeah, maybe.
Based indeed.
But what have you been playing?
Well, I would like to talk for a minute about Skyrim because I was getting clowned the other day from some people in this podcast about playing Skyrim too much.
It wasn't me. It was Chris. It was Chris Friend of the show. Best friend of the show.
I think that you also
old
joined
co-host.
a little bit.
Oh, no. I said, yeah, that's just Seth. Which I guess is joining in, but I believe that acceptance of who you are is a bit different than clowning.
Than ribbing you.
Because I know who you are and
But
I
look,
know what you're
here's the
capable
thing
of.
about Skyrim is that we can all agree it's a good game and it's fun to play.
Sure. Yes.
And sometimes
And everybody loves playing it
on Wednesday.
No one is taking
I did
away
play
from
it today, and it is Wednesday. And sometimes you just want to play a game that you know
So
you enjoy playing.
Yes.
And, that was why I was playing Skyrim. Have I played it for the amount that it would take to beat any other game? Yeah. That may be true. But look, any amount that I play Skyrim is more fun than anything that I did in Starfield. So I just want to throw that out there, that doing the same things over and over in Skyrim was just more fun. And it was crazy having that realization in real time while I was playing Skyrim, thinking, man, this is so much better than all of Starfield, and I've done it like 8 times before.
I was enjoying watching you play. I want to know.
Look, it's fun to play, and it's good, and that's what I have to say about Skyrim.
There you go.
True.
You did it.
So for all the haters out there,
There's no haters.
I have nothing to say because I haven't.
Because there's no Skyrim haters out there.
Right. I don't think they exist.
It's more clowning you because of you could be playing other things.
Yes, it's true. It's true. I could have been playing other things, and I really should have been.
But at least you weren't avoiding playing something that I want you to play. That's the bonus here. Is that like you weren't putting off playing like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth
Yes,
Yeah.
for Skyrim.
to play Skyrim.
Yeah, I was playing what I wanted to play at that moment. I have since. I did play it today, so I can't say that I have set it down. But I have been playing Rise of the Ronin, the much anticipated by me Team Ninja follow-up to Wolong, Fallen Dynasty, and the Neo games.
How is it?
I'm enjoying it. I think I've got a lot of thoughts about it. But it's a very different game. Obviously, there's the switch to open world, which is, I'm neither here nor there on. I like a good open world, and I think it does sort of prey on my worst instincts when it comes to games and making me need to do everything. But I think that it's not like the world is so packed with stuff that it is kind of like overwhelming.
Right.
And I think they are cool recreations of different the cities in Japan in the 1800s. So it's I do think a lot of the world is kind of redundant because you're simply going from point to point and not really doing much existing in the world.
Right.
And I think that I don't know that it is. I understand why they did it for this game, and I understand they're wanting to branch out and try something new. But I don't think that it is better for gaining the open world, but losing the cool level designs that they had in the Neo games. I don't think is it's not the fairest trade-off in my opinion. Because there's specific missions that happen, but because they are all confined to the spaces of the open world, you only ever get sort of bite-sized versions of what were huge, not huge, but very the scale of the levels in Neo were much greater and much more intricate. And so it is cool when like finding those sort of miniaturized versions. Like you'll have to infiltrate someone's estate and get through it and fight a boss at the end. But they're all like scaled down because they have to exist in the open world, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But it and also moving to the real world, to the quote unquote real world, and away from fantasy means there's the diversity of enemies is kind of leveled out. It's because they're all the enemies are people, and for the most part, all of them are using weapons and combat styles that you can also equip. And so it makes combat very different, because for the most part, every enemy has access to all of the tools that you do in battle. And they all, different levels of enemies fight with different levels of intellect,
right?
Based on, and so a lot of them will be fodder, but they can still cut you down pretty easy. There is a very satisfying block button in this game, and sort of fighting one-on-one battles is sort of based around making sure you can counter enemies' moves. I mean, you can, but it's also not useful to play completely defensive. Like, you do need to go into offense. But the battles, it's the same kind of the end result of the combat is the same as it is in any kind of Souls-like game where you're trying to deplete a stamina bar so you can get a critical hit off, and then it moves into most critical hit will kill most enemies. But it is interesting, like, all of the people that you fight are, they're just using the same skills as you. Enemies can use them in more succession, and they generally have bigger health bars and stamina pools as you. But it does put a more cerebral kind of attitude into the fighting.
Right.
And honestly, in the Neo games, I think a lot of my favorite fights were the one-on-one against other people. In those games, they didn't really have they weren't exactly using the same type of attack styles that you were. And halfway through, most of them turned into monsters. But it was always really fun because the human enemies in those games always fought you in a way that felt a lot more calculated.
Right.
And so, there is that in this game, but I found for the most part the boss battles haven't been too difficult, especially compared to their previous games. That generally all opened, like, first level was an absolute crushing boss fight that you would beat your head against for hours before you moved on. And maybe that is on purpose to allow a greater audience to get into this game, like the stuff, because I put it on the highest difficulty, and it's
right.
And I haven't really had much trouble with it, except for there are times when an enemy will show up using a weapon and a combat style that you don't have access to, and those times it's like it's really hard to figure out enemy rhythms and when their combos in, and those are kind of the most challenging, most frustrating, but also kind of the most rewarding fights.
Right, it's got to be rewarding because it's you figured something out.
And it is cool that for a lot of those enemies, you then can use them in subsequent missions. It's very interesting that in this game, like the very first mission of the game is like you need to go infiltrate. Your character is a ninja who works for this clan who is opposing the shogunate, and they go to send you to infiltrate the black ships that the Americans showed up on, and because they've heard that the shogunate is trying to work out a deal, like a deal to open up the country, so they send you to go on the ship to kill the dude. And then pretty early on in the game, you get to meet that guy again, and sort of he becomes your friend. And also, if you're playing as the opposite gender of him, you can romance him. And it's a very strange thing, because pretty much all the characters you are meeting are characters that you then get to have relationships with and get to work alongside and against. There's like a main faction of characters in the first city of the game in Yokohama who are the anti-shogunate faction. And in the second city, you find that you are then doing a bunch of missions with the pro-shogunate faction and are at sometimes encountering those characters in missions, and you have to fight against them. And so it's really it's something that like the Neo games didn't have, that makes it a lot more interesting. That it's a very complex interplay of people who you are interacting with. There is like a sort of you can gain favor with the pro and anti shogunate factions, and you can level up favor for them, and it's really interesting, because in the first act of the game, it seemed like the game is very much pointing you to be anti shogunate, and then you get to the second act and it's you're flipping the other side. I imagine in the third act, it's sort of leaving it up to you, and you get to sort of decide the fate of Japan or whatever. So I don't know. I'm interested to see where it goes, but it's always. I think the cool thing about it is that like you'll encounter characters in these missions that you are fighting against, and then like they will confront you after the mission and be like, "What were you doing? I don't understand what you were doing with them. I thought that we were comrades and that we were fighting for the same aim." But it's also weird because your character, they are ostensibly going through this game looking for their partner who they lost in the first mission of the game, and who sort of pops back up as an enemy in a couple of times, and you're trying to figure out what they're doing, and so you play a mostly like weird, out of place character, and all the stuff that's going on, that are sort of a neutral third party that can move through the two groups, and it's just, I don't know, it's interesting watching the different character dynamics, and you get to see the arguments that both historical sides made, and
right,
and the pros and cons of both stuff. I don't know, it's been very interesting, like intellectually stimulating, if not as compelling, like in a sort of design sense to me. But yeah, I'm enjoying it though. They brought back a lot of the stuff that I feel like they streamlined in Wolong. All of the crazy loot and all of the skill trees and stuff like that. That the stuff that I absolutely lived for in Neo, which made me happy. And again, it is a bit more streamlined too, but it's been a fun time.
Good. I'm excited for you to beat it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, and it's cool to learn about these historical figures that I did not know a whole lot about.
It's always what's good about these games, that it's sort of like Oppenheimer in a way. And I promise it'll make sense when I watched Oppenheimer, and I thought this is where my take isn't real. I thought it was a fine movie. I thought it was pretty good. But it if anything, it made me more interested in what actually happened. And I, like, in the middle of the movie, I'm like, I like this movie, but I would really like to be watching, like, a documentary instead of watching this movie.
Yeah.
And so, like, it is nice. Assassin's Creed kind of does this a little bit.
Well, it
where,
used to.
like, it used to. Where, like, there's just, like, real life things it's touching on that lead to you wanting to learn about it.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know there was another French Revolution before Les Mis until...
Yeah, there were a bunch of them.
Yeah, and I didn't know that because I didn't pay attention that much in that international history, world history.
Yes, I did. That was honestly that was one of my favorite things about the old Assassin's Creed games is that they were like long encyclopedia entries about the people and the places that you were going that you could just read on, and that was something that was in Neo and Neo 2. Of course, in those they were sort of the information you were getting was part real life and also part the way it connects to this ridiculous story.
Yeah.
And so that's what's going on in this game too. But I feel like there's a lot more of those encyclopedia entries for places that you can go, and different clans and stuff like that, which is cool.
Cool.
Fun to learn while you game.
Yeah.
We love learning.
Learning's fun. I want to go around real quick. This doesn't have to be just from Summer Game Fest. It could be from the weekend because there's a lot of events this coming weekend. And just do the top 3 things that you hope are going to get announced or shown at this weekend.
Top 3 things. Well, we know what David's number 1 is.
We know my number 1. It's Hollow Knight Silksong.
Yep.
And we know what his number 2 is.
I don't know what my number 2... What,
and we know what his number 3 is.
my number 1 is definitely Hollow Knight Silksong. My number 2 would be... Honestly, weirdly enough, I want to know more about that Transformers game that got teased like a year and a half ago.
I knew
2
it.
years ago.
Yeah.
I really want that. And my number 3 would be... There's been now more rumblings because they're not going to be able to have... I guess Gears 6 is a couple years away because they did have to, like... They all had to learn UE5. There's been rumors that they've redone 1 through 3.
Interesting.
And I really hope that's true. I would love a Gears trilogy remaster.
Yeah.
Especially if it's in a new engine. Like if they really like give it a new full fresh coat of paint.
That first game especially, even the Ultimate, like the re-release of it still looks a little muddy.
Yeah, and like give me the multiplayer again. It'll revitalize the multiplayer. Gears 3 multiplayer was like top everything. It was so good. So those are my top 3 that I would want from this weekend.
Fair.
Interesting. Well, my number 1 is always for stuff like this. The number 1 realistic thing that I'm always hoping for is cool indie games that are coming out soon on Switch that I can get.
Preferably before the end of the month.
Right.
And you're going to get one. It's probably Hollow Knight Silksong. It's one of the best games of all time. I don't know what to tell you.
I think
Yeah, Silksong is one of the best games of all time.
I'm trying to think, I feel like it wouldn't be crazy for it to happen during Game Fest. Like maybe a tease of the new Persona.
Ooh.
We know that it's in development, and we know that it's green.
That's leading people to think it might be announced at the Xbox showcase.
Yeah, so that's what I was
Green,
also
yeah.
thinking. But because they have been like they did the big push with Persona 3, and they've got Metaphor ReFantasio coming. But that also makes me wonder if they would show it
I think it might get shown at the Xbox showcase.
Yeah,
If it.
I mean,
I think it might get teased.
I could see it being. Yeah, they're not going to show it.
Yeah.
Probably, it would be, if anything, it would be like a logo and some music and a voice line.
Maybe the main character.
But the only thing with Xbox is with Metaphor coming out relatively soon, if they would want to.
Metaphor is showing up at Summer Game Fest, though. Kaylee has already said that is going to be at Summer Game Fest.
I'll be excited to see that for sure, though.
Each showcase is going to be 2 hours long, which is wild.
Jesus.
Summer Game Fest is 2 hours, and Xbox is 2, and then that's not counting what the Call of Duty one is going to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're going to be able to zone out for Call of Duty. I'm going to be tuned in because of zombies. So that's like, and I'm going to get it with Game Pass, which will be rad. I won't have to spend money on it.
Yeah. You'll just have to download a 200 gigabyte game.
Yeah. That's fine.
Well, that's
maybe
less than what Destiny players have to do.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How big is that game now?
Oh, it's
like
huge.
300 gigs.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What would my last thing that I want to see be? I'm trying to think. I mean, I always tune in these things for surprises.
Yeah.
Like
Love
I
a
want to
good
see
surprise.
new games that I don't know about, and that I probably will never get, but I can in the moment be like, "Ooh, that looks cool."
Yeah.
We all know you really want a Borderlands cast on stage.
That
With
would,
Jeff Cayley.
that would make me laugh. I would love to see that.
Or Jack Black coming out in a cardboard cover.
I think he's on tour now, though, so I don't know
Okay.
that he can be there.
We'll see. Oh, I'll get that.
So I don't know. It's tough to say, like, with Microsoft, because I feel like they always have a lot to show and not a whole lot that I'm ever interested in. Like, I hope they show more of Avowed.
Avowed would
It
be
is time
cool.
for that.
It's coming out this year,
Yeah.
so they keep showing more of it, and I am excited for it all the time.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's tough, especially with Game Fest, to say I'm hope that this shows up, because they're gonna show a lot of stuff. We know that, but we also know that every time it's happened, we've come away kind of like, well, what was the point of that showcase? So I guess the third thing I would like is for there to be like an actual big announcement at Game Fest that makes me walk away thinking that wasn't a waste of my time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
Well, it's 2 hours, so I hope there's something big enough that does
Look, I feel like this happens every year though. We
Yeah.
think, they've got so much time. Also, hopefully they cut down on the ads.
That's
They
why it's
there
2
probably will
hours
be
long.
more ads.
Yeah. It's actually one full hour of ads.
It's going to be 1 full hour of Hideo Kojima, his podcast.
It's just a full podcast.
It's just him
episode.
talking to Jeff, and then
30 minutes of
30
Neil
minutes
Druckmann
of 30, and then
God.
explaining.
20 minutes of ads.
I'll strangle you right here on mic. I swear to God.
And then we got 10 minutes of gameplay. So that's probably what it'll be.
The other 20 minutes will be the guy from the one studio that.
Joseph Ferris.
No, not him. I was talking about what's the Dead Space alike that came out?
Yeah,
that weird guy. He'll come out and grunt like with his weird voice.
Yeah, I
and
forgot about him.
Talk about the hyper-violence.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, man.
Jesus.
All right, Forrest, what are your top 3?
For Games Fest, I really want to see more
Game
of the
Fest,
Game
not
Fest.
plural.
Sorry, even though there will be games added.
Yes.
It should be
but
called
it's a
Game
game.
Fests.
There are, I don't know.
I think Games Fest is more.
Yeah, I know, but that's
Yeah.
why it should be more confusing.
But yeah, number one for me is seeing more of the MGS3 remake.
Delta.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite games of all time. I really need to see what they're doing with that. Because it's not like the Fox engine has been used for almost anything else since MGS5 came out. And people have made like fan-made recreations of Snake Eater inside of like the assets for MGS5, and it's like, wow, that looks great. Can't wait to see what it would look like if it was officially done.
Is it called the Fox engine because of Gray Fox?
No, it's because Foxhound and well, I mean, just the fox in general is like a huge, like a recurring motif throughout the series.
Naruto,
Foxhound, Fox Die,
Star Fox.
yeah, Star Fox,
Star Fox 64.
Yep, Star Fox 64 3D,
Oh yes.
Star Fox Racers,
Star Fox
Star Fox
Assault.
Zero.
the racer game that we
Star
never
Fox,
got.
yeah, Star Fox Grand Prix.
Ah,
Still don't know if that was fake or not.
That was definitely
People
fake.
say it was fake, but I feel like it was too good of an idea for it to be fake.
yeah.
If it was fake, it needs to be real.
Yeah. So I had ideas for number 2 and 3, and then you started talking about your list, Seth, and my mind completely blanked.
Yeah, that's what happens.
So that's how this goes. I am with David though on the Transformers game. I've been thinking about that on and off lately. Of like, hey, it's been a hot minute. Let's get some more of that. So I'd say it's probably my number 2.
I'm definitely excited to see games that I probably saw 2 years ago and thought were cool and be like, oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah. Or
That's
something
always
that
fun.
I
That's always
completely
fun.
forgot. Had
Maybe
been
we'll get a
revealed.
trailer of that. Do you remember that cool big skeleton man playing the banjo in the swamp trailer?
No.
And it was a jazz. He was.
You'd think I would remember that.
It was
I
so
love me a big
rad
skeleton
looking.
man, especially if he's playing music.
Jazz
You know the
skeleton.
bones. The bones are their
Swamp
money.
Xbox game.
That's one
Was
thing
it
I know about
Xbox?
skeletons.
South of Midnight.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
bones are the skeleton's money. In
Yeah.
their world, bones equal dollars.
South of Midnight was shown at the Xbox Game Showcase last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so probably won't see it.
So, well,
I would say we could see it this year.
do you not remember the big skeleton man?
It's
Seth?
this usually happens 2 years later is when we see
Yeah.
a game like that.
Do you think we see Fable? Finally?
Who the heck knows?
I don't.
First,
think
we
so.
need to get Forrest to number 3.
Yeah, I think I just came up with a thing for my number 3. I want to see
It's Fable.
what. No, I've never
Skeleton
given a crap
Man.
about Fable. It is Skeleton Man. No, I want to see what the dev studio Rose Engine is working on next. They did Signalis a few years back, and I just hope that they're making another game.
I feel like it's too
was
recent
like
for
2
them
years
anything
ago.
to show.
I don't know. I mean, Signalis was also shown off like super ahead of time.
Do you remember that? No?
Yeah, sort of.
I do
This-
now.
Skeleton
Yeah.
Man.
You said the title of it, and it all came flooding back to me. That's gonna be a cool thing. South of Midnight, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Xbox.
Well, no, I just said for the whole weekend.
Oh yeah. Oh well, I was doing it by individual showcase because if we combine it, all my answers.
Well, come on,
drastically
you're ready to
change.
give us 3 more.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Xbox. I really want to see what the Coalition's quadruple A Perfect Dark
Yes.
game is gonna be, because I'm tired of not seeing anything from it. So that's my number 1, just because I want it to.
I think you'll have to wait,
I want it to
'cause
be shown so I can stop caring
I don't
or
think it's gonna
expecting
be
anything. You know. Yeah. Number 2, South of Midnight.
Big skeleton.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah, the big skeleton man. And then number 3.
I wonder if they'll show
Oh.
Starfield DLC, as if anyone will care.
Yeah. For number 3, I want to see if there's anything more to show off for Arcane Studios' Blade game that was shown off just a few months
Yeah,
back
probably not. Probably not.
at the Video Game Awards. But it'd be cool if they could show off some more.
Now, do we think Jeff Keighley or Phil Spencer will talk about layoffs at all?
No.
0.
Not at all. He might talk about it. So the only interview that Phil Spencer has the whole weekend is at IGN Live. And I just pray that someone at that godforsaken company
I don't
has
trust
enough
them to
teeth.
say anything, but it depends on
ask
who's
something.
talking.
Yeah, it depends.
But probably not.
That's
probably why the only interview he has scheduled with them.
They declined to be on the Giant Bomb couch this year.
Yeah.
Because they figured
that's what they would talk about.
They were on the couch last year. And you know that Jeff Grubb and Tamor would not let that slide.
Yeah.
Because Tamor last time, if you go back and watch, was also holding their feet to the fire about like, how is this really working as a company? And you could tell they didn't love.
They don't want to. They don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
They want to be the magical company that makes games.
And that works until you spend $70 billion.
Right. It works when you're Nintendo.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have built up a mystique, and also you don't buy companies and lay off hundreds of employees.
Right. It's.
Oh, I have a fourth thing that I want to be shown.
Borderlands 4?
No. I would maybe pop off for that, honestly.
Look, I would be excited.
No,
in reality,
I want to see the reveal of the Alan Wake 2 DLC.
Oh yeah,
yes.
It is no big suck.
They their Twitter account recently changed their profile picture.
Yeah, it did.
To
Poison Pill.
Poison Pill.
Yes.
Yep. Located in Night Springs.
Yes. So they're definitely gearing up for reveal. So
yeah.
we could definitely be primed to see it.
Yeah, I hope we do. I'm excited. We're gearing up for a lot of fun stuff, I think. Jeff tries to temper my expectations, and they just go higher. Because the problem is I think that and maybe he's just out of touch, and I don't know. Like,
he's out of touch.
Obviously out of touch.
I'm out of time.
When he's like, oh, it's not, temper your expectations. There's not like a Grand Theft Auto at this.
There's not.
I don't care to see
here.
a Grand Theft Auto trailer at this thing.
Cool stuff.
I just want to see cool games.
And look, Jeff, here's the
Guardians
solution.
of the Galaxy.
Instead, yeah, but Sony showed you that the other day, and everyone was excited about it.
God, we didn't even talk about that. I don't care about it.
Yeah, we can talk about it later. As in, not this episode. Here's the thing, Jeff. Instead of tempering our expectations, just have a better show.
So that we don't have to have them tempered. Like,
your
show
show
that works, that we can be generally excited about.
Also, the other thing is, don't announce it so far in advance. If you told us it was coming, and then like 2 days before it, this is the other Nintendo strategy. They don't, like, people have all this time to be like, oh, when's the next direct coming? But that's the only the only thing that they can get hyped about is that when it doesn't exist.
At some point, like, it's like, well, it's been like 4 months.
Yeah.
In theory, we got to have one this month, right?
And so that prevents them from speculating about what's going to be in it for too long.
But it's something he sells tickets to, so he has to have that stuff.
I know.
Why do they sell tickets to this?
I don't know. They should give away tickets.
I mean,
like the freaking Tonight Show. Just give them out.
It doesn't
make sense. You
just need bodies in the seats.
Right.
They don't got to be game journalists or gamers.
If anything, it makes
those people would come anyway.
Yeah.
Why do you need butts in seats? I don't understand.
Because they want to get big reactions.
But the reaction, we're not hearing the reactions. We're not hearing the people's reactions.
That's true.
He wants to hear them.
I don't know.
Screw him.
It's a strange...
Nepo baby.
It's all weird.
IMAX parents. Whatever.
He doesn't even stream this thing in IMAX.
He did once.
We were
Was
there.
it actually streamed with an IMAX camera?
I don't know.
Like,
it wasn't a theater.
It wasn't the theater.
But was it like...
I don't know.
Was it on the IMAX screen and was it an expanded ratio?
I can't tell you. I don't know.
That one was the most disappointing because we had to watch 20 minutes of a failed Last of Us multiplayer game we talked about that never came out.
Amazing.
But instead, they'll just re-release the game they just made.
It's just preposterous. Oh my gosh. Everything
Neil.
is weird.
Do we think that Naughty Dog is going to show off a PS5 release for the Uncharted series?
No, they're not. Sony already told their investors that they don't have anything in the chamber this year.
Okay.
Anything new. There's not. That's nothing like that.
And they may lie to the public, but they generally don't lie to investors.
Yeah,
especially not Japanese companies.
Because they don't want to
pretty much lay it all out there.
They really desperately don't. You A, don't want to let down investors, and B, don't want to surprise them with something. You want it to stay. You want the relationship to stay copacetic.
You want them in on the loop,
and that would be a big deal if they were to surprise them. Yeah, it's just Concord looks like hot garbage. Jesus Christ, I don't
even know what it looks like.
It looks.
It's
I don't know
it's hard to figure
what
out
sort of market there is for a single platform Overwatch.
I think there's a. I think it was an important distinction that they the whole time refer to it as a first-person shooter and not a hero shooter. I think. Look, it is Overwatch. It is Guardians of the Galaxy.
It might be more Valorant-y than Overwatch, but it looks like Overwatch.
But I think they are trying to not have it be Overwatch. I don't think they want people to think of it as Overwatch.
That UI is just Overwatch.
I mean, yeah, it is but I don't think they want people to think that it's Overwatch, even if it is.
It's the hot dog guy saying we're all trying to find the guy who did this. They've done it.
I know.
I don't care if they don't want to
I
have done it.
understand that. But I think
Just
it's
be
important.
unabashed about it.
I think it's important that they didn't use the term hero shooter. I think the pitch is that it's not a hero
I think
shooter.
the general populace.
You know the game that did use the term hero shooter in the same showcase, and that's the one people are still talking about online?
Which one?
Is that Marvel Overwatch,
Well,
which
yeah, but that's because it's Marvel.
Also, they're
Right.
literally heroes.
but that game is getting
Superhero shooter.
that game is getting
And
a lot.
villains.
The beta is really big right now. People are loving it because
But
there
that
is
is also
weird,
available to play right now in beta. The other one is not.
and that's because there's weird team up moves and stuff, which is kind of rad. But like, whatever, it's fine. The main thing about that was that Astrobot was on there, and that looks cool.
Yeah.
They look neat.
And the 3 Souls likes that were there,
The 2 ninja likes.
and yeah, whatever.
There's some cool stuff in that showcase.
Yeah,
But
they really crammed in 14 games in 30 minutes.
I bet
We got halfway through that thing, and I'm like, we're
going to have the exact amount
10 minutes
the
left of
same
this.
amount of gameplay that was in that 30-minute showcase in both of these. Not together, but and each one is going to have the same amount of gameplay as was in that Sony one. I guarantee
In
it.
the Xbox and the
Yeah, in those 2 hours, they're going to put the same amount of gameplay footage.
No, I think they're going to show extended Avowed gameplay, and they're going to show a good chunk of Indiana Jones gameplay.
I think a lot of it's going to be people talking. It's going to be developers talking with.
I think Xbox knows better by now.
I don't. But it's what they do in their showcases.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to say they know better.
Yeah, it's nice to think that they would have learned by this
I think
point.
there's a better chance in the Xbox One because it's not going to have ads throughout the whole thing. Like,
That is the better part, is that we won't have to watch the same Honkai Star Rail ad 20 times.
no, this
and
time it's
then
going to be a Zenless Zone Zero.
Zenless
ads,
Zone
for sure.
Zero.
I'm so tired of hearing that. It boils me.
It's too bad that game looks cool, like visually.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
no part of me wants to play it.
No.
Yeah. That's
God, if they could have made it anything else other than. Like, even if it was still Hoyo, if they had made, like, a different style of game.
It's still the problem.
I mean, I think it's going to be the same as what Genshin Impact was going to be. It's just going to be a big open world money suck.
That's the one thing I like about Star Wars Hunters, I will say. They could have easily done the crappy thing where, like, you have the Stormtrooper, but he's only 1 star. But you could have the Stormtrooper at 3 stars.
I hate that.
And so, like, this is genuinely a...
God,
like,
so frustrating.
you mainly buy cosmetics and extra characters. And that's good. That's the good way to monetize a game. And your characters, you can pay to level them up faster, but you earn. I'm already like level 6 with the one character, and the top is level 15 for all the skills to be maxed out. So like, you genuinely just earn levels by playing with the character.
As
like
it should be.
Yeah. So, and then after that, it's all cosmetics, and I mean, I don't care about that for the most part, unless you can have me dress up as like a P man in his
PEA.
PEA, the pod, P pod. Oh, Fortnite! What a great game! What a great game! Always in my mind.
Yes.
It's you know, like Billy Joel has the New York state of mind, and I have the Fortnite state of mind. That's me. You would think like it's really Disney, like Disney properties, and then like Fortnite is like 3 or 4. It's wild. Man,
this is David's mind.
it's I'm thinking about it all the time. All right, well, we'll talk to you this weekend, maybe you'll know if we're excited or not about the stuff that was announced, because we'll have recorded an episode. And if not, you'll hear from us next week. We'll definitely record next week to give your reactions. But if you get an episode over the weekend, you know it was good or really bad, which would be
if it's really bad, we might be compelled to talk about it.
If you'll know what happens if it's mid. Join our Discord. We're always talking in there during these things and yelling and arguing about weird things all the time. I was talking a lot about Star Wars Acolyte today. That show's good.
And I was complaining about Slurpees. Still want my free Slurpee.
Yeah.
Still can't get it to work. T-Mobile.
7-Eleven.
With that, we appreciate you listening as always, and we will talk at you later. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.